UC Berkeley, sorry, is one of the best places to come to discuss disruption. Because I checked up on you guys, and it seems you guys have a history of disrupting everything. There's Steve Wozniak, there's a guy who developed the Apple mouse, and I hear that there are a lot of protests and political consciousness around here. So when it was mentioned that we're coming here, I thought, yes, this is the best place for someone like YeleSowore to come here, or to come to discuss his aspiration. When we were in Nigeria, and I got the chance to now stay at close quarters with him, I realized that there was nothing fake about him. Now, I have had the opportunity to mix with some of those in government, and I can tell you that the difference between them is as night and day. Sometimes night even merges with the day. Give me two things that do not mix: oil and water. And so I decided, there's this intelligent guy, there's this humble guy, there's this genuine guy, there's this truthful guy, and then there's this brave guy who has come to change a country I am passionate about. Now I want to present this intelligent, genuine, brave, passionate disruptor to you. So please put your hands together for YeleSowore.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm going to do something very quickly, and that is that to let you know that I'm also a professor here in the US, and I'm going to give you homework, right? Is there anybody here who's afraid of homework? You're in the wrong school. No, don't be scared. I'm not giving you any homework. I am glad to be in your midst. And I just want to ask, is there anybody here who's been to Nigeria in the last 2 years in your midst? None. 2 years. When was that?
In December.
Okay, December. When was the last time you were in Nigeria? December. So you only go to Nigeria for Christmas? Is that what it is?
Usually.
Yes. Yes. And what was your experience? Tell us. Your life, by the way. Do you have your permission to stream your life?
Yeah.
It's not going to endanger your life back home, right?
No.
All right, so what was your experience? Tell us, what was your experience?
My experience, so I flew into Lagos, but my family's from Edo State, so...
You flew into Lagos?
Yes.
Into the Murtala Mohammed International Airport?
Yes.
Known as MIA. All right? And where were you headed?
Edo State.
Fantastic. Edo State. What was your experience when you got to the airport? Did you like it?
I mean, I'm kind of used to it. I mean, it's definitely has been improved over time.
It has improved over time?
I think so.
Okay. What improved between the last time you were there and the last time you were there in December?
Not too much because I had been there.
Writing, time of arrival, your luggage, carousel?
I mean, more like the structure, the architecture, the lighting, the floors, the walls.
The floors were better?
Yeah, I mean, not from like the last time I'd been there, but just like
Okay.
I've seen over time.
All right.
Yeah.
So compared to where you were coming from, where were you flying in from?
I was flying in from Amsterdam, a connecting flight.
And how was the airport in Amsterdam compared to the one in Lagos?
Much more developed.
Better. Do you know that the Lagos airport was actually designed to be like the one in Amsterdam? Have you ever heard the story before?
No.
So, exact copycat of Schiphol was what Schiphol used to be in maybe 40 years ago when we went and copied it. But the way we have been, that airport has been that same way for almost 40 years, pretty much. And Schiphol has expanded and become one of the biggest hubs for air travel in the world. Yes, what else did you think? What about the transportation between Lagos. Did you go to Edo State or you stayed in Lagos?
Yeah, we went to Edo State. We
Benin.
drove- Yeah, Benin.
How was the trip?
Interesting.
Yeah. What was
Yeah.
interesting there? Tell us.
So just how there wasn't, like, the roads weren't always paved, and sometimes
It wasn't paved.
Yes, there was some routes, like a certain areas we took where it was like really intense to drive.
Wow.
Lots of like bumping and jumping.
And how was that compared to here, California?
Very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Exactly. So, what about the other lady who went to Nigeria? We want to ask you. You know, you don't want to have to say anything, record. That's fine, So, I'm taking time to just hear from you because this is completely about young people, right? This is completely about your future that's been mortgaged. I'm not saying specifically you, but so just as you are sitting here, there are almost 100 and something million young people your age who have not gotten the options you have, who are trapped within Nigeria. I'm sure you saw many of them. Were you born in Nigeria? No. Is there anyone here who's born in Nigeria? When did you leave Nigeria?
In 2000, when I was like 6 years old.
And you haven't gone back since then?
No.
When do you plan to go back?
Probably next year with my father.
Okay.
He said I have to see it.
All right. How about you?
I left in like 2010.
2010?
Yeah.
That's not too long ago. It's about 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, 8 years ago.
Yeah.
When do you plan to go back?
I should be going back Christmas or next summer.
All right, but you're not sure yet,
Yeah.
right? How about you? Were you born in Nigeria? Yes. When did you get here?
Also 2000.
2000. Do you plan to go back anytime soon?
At this point, my finances just don't see it in the future.
Wow.
I'm gonna be real.
Are you scared of going back to Nigeria? Anybody here who's scared to go back to Nigeria? Scared? Or obviously you don't feel like it's gonna be safe to go
It's
back?
not even safe. I think it's just the culture,
Yeah.
me being basically American now, and how
Yeah.
I'll be received, and the safety aspect too.
Yeah.
I hear many things. You have to be like low key. You can't come in looking like you're affluent or it's just dangerous, and
Oh,
it's just kind of sad to hear that.
yeah. So, is there any one of you that feel like something can be done about Nigeria? Who's optimistic here? You? Fantastic. Is there anyone here in-house who would like to go back to Nigeria to roll up your sleeves and help make Nigeria work? All of you. Fantastic. So the person standing in front of you, now I'm going to introduce myself. I've lived in the U.S. for 19 years. I came here in 1999. And my intention was to come spend 2 weeks and go back to Nigeria. Somehow 2 weeks became 19 years. Yes. And I'm sure for so many of you, probably you came for, just come do school. Is there anyone here who came purposely for school? Just, you got admitted, you came to school here. And, something led to something that you're not going back anytime soon, right? So I didn't come for school, I came for a different purpose. I actually came for a conference that was supposed to last only 2 weeks. I've been here for 19 years now. And this year, I decided I'm going back to Nigeria, but on a different level, which is to go and fight for the political future of Nigeria. Josh had introduced to you, I ran Sahara Reporters, which is an online website that's been dealing with investigative reporting on corruption in Nigeria for 12 years now. And I came to the conclusion that probably what I was doing at Sahara Reporters, this should be seen as a phenomenal work of investigative journalism, breaking news, and all of those stuff is not enough, because it looks like the political class in Nigeria that I've been fighting against for 29 years. I actually started as a student activist at the University of Lagos in 1999, I would say pretty much, when I became a freshman. The more you fight them, the more they become immune to, the kind of very civilized way of fighting them. When I say civilized, please pardon my use of the word civilized, because that could be misconstrued to mean that, people in our part of the world are not civilized. That's not what I meant. But I mean it from the point of view of civility, all right? And nothing is changing. As you probably, most of you, if you were in Nigeria 5 years ago, or 10 years ago, or 9 years ago, if you go back to Nigeria, the condition of Nigeria probably had deteriorated more than you left it. If you had a road that you could drive on for 10 minutes, when you go back today, you won't find anything on the surface anymore. That's, I'm surprised that somebody said that the airport's improved. I don't know, because I've been traveling to Nigeria a lot recently, and I haven't seen an improvement at the airport, even not with lighting. Anytime I arrive in Nigeria, I feel like going back to the plane, like right there, because it's an assault on both your sensibilities and your humanity at the same time. When you get to a country and you're about to present your passport, if you arrive at 7 p.m. and there's blackout, and the custom guy flips out his cell phone and is like, bring your passports. And, and then there's light again, and then, or you are approaching the airport and the pilot is like, hey, we're about to land, and it's like, suddenly you look down and there's darkness, and then he goes around again until maybe there's some, at the airport. So this has been the story of Nigeria, this very progressive deterioration of the country over time. And there are people responsible for it. And we keep voting for them. We keep voting for failure in our country. We keep choosing, people who have no idea how to even run a country to become our leaders. Next year is going to be another opportunity for Nigerians to change the direction of life. I won't even say politics. We need to change that direction, and this is what we've been advocating. And we started 6 months ago or 7 months ago, what we call the Take It Back movement. Which is to go back to Nigeria, mobilize young people in particular, and conscientize Nigerians, educate them to say, look, it is possible to have a country where things function. It's possible to have a country where you have electricity, right? Right now, Nigeria's got 7,000 megawatts of electricity, serving over 198 million people, right? If you divide it up, it's, an average Nigerian doesn't even have like a flicker of what you use on your cell phone, right? And this is the situation. And the road network, of course, you know what our roads are like. You know what our hospitals are like. I don't know if any one of you who've been back to Nigeria anytime recently had gotten sick and never been to any hospital. Anybody in Nigeria, have you ever been to a hospital in Nigeria?
I have when I was younger.
Yeah, what happened?
I don't remember the details, but
you don't have to tell us, yeah.
Yeah, but it was pretty clean. I mean, I hadn't seen what compared to American hospitals.
Okay.
So that was the only experience.
Where was this? Was it Lagos?
It was in Aba.
Aba
State.
And it was a nice hospital?
It was a pretty decent hospital. Yeah,
it was decent.
Yeah.
Okay. When you got here and you look back, what did you think?
I mean, definitely could be improved more.
All right. So you have all of these things that should, you should typically take for granted, right? Not available in Nigeria. I'm sure that probably this school here. Did you guys have a hospital?
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
It's good.
Is it good, or you don't even like it? Huh?
It's adequate.
It's adequate. So what I'm hearing from you is that you don't even feel like it's a big deal. You take it for granted. That's why you call it adequate. But if you compare what you see Berkeley Hospital, Nigeria, they'll probably, if it's attached to a university, it's probably a teaching hospital. They call it teaching hospital here too? Or is this a public hospital?
Yeah, it's public because our school doesn't have a med school.
Okay.
UCLA has a
okay.
hospital.
You guys don't have a med school. So I'm just taking you through this as if we're in a class, right? There's nothing classy about it. We're just telling a short story of experiences about Nigeria. So, but what I'm hearing from you is that you love in your lifetime to see a Nigeria that works. That would be true, right? And probably you're not satisfied with Nigeria right now. Is that correct? Yes. Have you ever, throughout your lifetime, voted in any election in Nigeria? Anybody here? I'm not trying to ask your age. I know you guys will get upset if I ask your age. Anybody voted in any election? Is there anybody in here that has families back at home who are going to vote in the next election?
I hope
Yeah. Okay. Is any one of you discuss politics at home? You discuss politics amongst yourself, Nigerian politics, amongst yourselves, right? Yeah. When was the last time you talked about Nigeria politically? What did you talk about? Tell us.
So like Nigeria's like revenue is like very dependent on like oil.
Oil.
We export a lot of oil, like the raw materials to like countries, but the problem is that we lack, and it's like ironic because we for our own people when that's our biggest natural resource. And, like,
Is that what you discussed?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like how like corruption in like the oil industry and
You
like
discussed corruption.
and like the oils in the water and like how we destroy like ecosystems.
Ecosystem, you discussed the environment. I told you guys I'm a teacher, right? Let's go. Keep on going.
Yeah, I just mainly focus on that and like how like we kind of have like a resource curse. Like we have all these resources.
Resource
but
curse,
we're not
yeah.
allocating it to our people.
Okay.
And like different states like get a lot of money, but that money is never like seen like trickle down to like the populations. And,
Poverty.
Yeah.
Somebody said they have a minor in poverty. What did you?
Global poverty and practice.
In global?
Poverty and practice.
Okay. What did they teach you in that class?
Basically, poverty theory about poverty alleviation, different economic theories on how to alleviate poverty, but really I haven't seen any practical application of the material.
Have you ever been taught about Nigeria in poverty class? Have you ever
Besides
mentioned
being an
Nigeria?
example of poverty, no.
Do they use Nigeria as an example
Yeah.
frequently? Yeah.
Yes.
So you haven't come across any, poverty alleviation theories in your class that can help Nigeria? Have you found?
No practical
No.
application. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Fantastic. Thank you. I mean, I'm enjoying this class, right? I'm enjoying this conversation and engagement. That's why I am not speaking to you the way typically a politician would talk, because I'm trying to see what I can extract from you regarding how you feel about Nigeria, how you think Nigeria can become a self-sufficient, progressive nation, where you can end poverty, diseases, and all those terrible things, crime that you've heard about in Nigeria. That's why I'm engaging this way. But what do I want to do eventually is that I'm not running to become your professor, right? I'm running to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Come next year. The election is coming in February. And we just have been traveling around the world to talk to people, engage largely with Nigerians abroad. Now we felt like it would be good to go to a classroom in the US to talk to Nigerians who are students. And is there any one of you, by the way, whoever went to university in Nigeria before you came to the university in the US? Anyone? No. So, is there any one of you here who did secondary school in Nigeria? Secondary school? You did secondary school?
Yes.
Up to what time?
I finished up to SS3.
SS3.
Yes.
When you got here, what do you think about your secondary school education?
There was a
Compared to what you had to get here?
yeah. So I spent 2 years in South Africa, so that kind of helped coming here. But
you had to use your 2 years in South Africa to make
to
up for
try to
everything
get
you lost.
get ready.
So you are saying that the South African educational system helped you better than what you had in Nigeria. Is that correct?
Yes.
South Africa?
Yes.
Wow. So if you hadn't gone to South Africa, it would have been difficult for you to cope when you got to the US.
Yeah, definitely been hard.
How about you, man? You said you did secondary school in Nigeria.
Yeah,
How were you able to cope when you got here?
I did A levels.
When did you do your A level?
In Nigeria?
Okay.
Yeah. So
How many years was A levels for?
It's usually 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you hadn't done A levels, it would have been tough for you to come from high school to college here.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow, that's interesting. So what did you think of your secondary school education in Nigeria? Did you go to a private school?
Yeah, I went to a private school,
Okay.
so
Nobody definitely here went to a public school.
It was
Primary school.
You went to private school?
Private.
Private. You didn't go to school in Nigeria? Okay, wow. So that's very interesting. nobody in this room ever been to a public school in Nigeria. Yeah, I went to a public school. When I was in primary school, I did, just like one of those next to the bush primary school. I went to a community high school, and I attended the University of Lagos. And when I came over to the US, I did my master's at Columbia University in New York, right? Now you can understand why I'm not afraid of you guys. I went to an Ivy League school too. So, yes. So, if you need recommendation letters to go to Columbia, contact me. Yeah, this is the time to brag about my educational background, right? So, yeah. And I can see you guys are starting to respect me. That's good. Anyways, this is just what it is. It's for us to, in Nigeria, get to the level where we can be having this kind of conversations. It would be great, right, to have leaders who can communicate with generations of young people. Is there any one of you who feel like you've met a Nigerian leader, public official, that you can relate with? Like a governor? Members, yes.
I met Governor Ikpeazu from Abia State.
Ikpeazu?
Yeah.
Where was that? Recently?
Yeah, he comes to our conventions like every year, and NASA. It's like Ngwa National Association.
That's your national association?
Yes.
He came this year?
He came last year and the year before that, and he's been coming since like 2015, if I remember correctly.
So what made you respect him?
He was like the first governor that was like Ngwa from like Abia.
From your own power?
Yeah, so and I like that he was very like well educated, well spoken. But he spoke to us like just normal. Like he didn't sound like a politician to us.
Yeah. But have you found out what he's done with the state since he became governor? Did you check?
I don't know much, but my relatives back home, they
impressed
like
with
him.
him?
Yeah, and my parents.
And you don't think it's because it's from Ongwa, your area?
That might be part of it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes. So, well, having said this, I'm going to stop here and take questions. Don't forget that I didn't tell you anything I'm going to do for Nigeria. I want to take questions and comments from you. The reason I'm going to do that and I'm not campaigning to you is that I want you to talk to me as if you are campaigning for president of Nigeria. Ask me questions that I could have asked you, because every one of you seated here today is qualified, better qualified. I repeat it, better qualified than the people who are managing Nigeria. You are better qualified than the president of Nigeria. Yes.
I agree.
You agree?
We know.
You know that.
We know.
Better qualified. You are better qualified than the governor of your respective states. You just need to hear them speak. Or if you haven't heard them speak, go to the state they are managing. You will know. Anybody here from Delta State? Yes. Did you hear your former governor recently on a TV show, Oduaga, who said that after 8 years, his only achievement was that women could deliver babies, and it was horrible. So I'm glad you guys felt that way. So let's do the Q&A so that we can start wrapping up. Do you have questions for me?
So pretty much how are you gonna make corporations accountable?
Fantastic.
And how will you improve infrastructure, and do you have any policies in mind? And also adding on to that, how do you plan to work with other African governments in trading, instead of just trading with the U.S. or European countries?
So your questions are...
And what are you going to do about China?
Fantastic. Let's put it, number one question is, how do you deal with China? Number two, corporations.
Accountability.
In terms of how they're buying up.
Yeah, taking all the jobs.
Three, what's the number three question?
I'm working with other African countries.
Yes, foreign policy. Would that be correct?
And improve the infrastructure.
Infrastructure. Four. Infra. Man, I haven't taught in a long time. I don't even know how to spell some of these things correctly anymore. What's wrong with you, man? So, China, why do you think they are afraid of China? Anybody?
We're not afraid of China.
Where's anybody? Why is China popping up in our conversations? Can anybody tell me why? Yes, go ahead.
Because China sees opportunity in Nigeria.
They see opportunities in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
They do everywhere.
But Nigeria has a large enough populace to create a large potential consumer base for them that they can see. But moreover, because I believe there are certain people in office that are easily bought, they're aware that with that they're easily able to gain political power, and with that the ability to get a disproportionate amount of access to resources as a country outside of Africa should be able to get.
So is anybody else who has a theory about China, apart from the fact that they take advantage of us? So they see, to see people, yeah.
Oh, President, I want to comment on the economic side of China.
Okay. Well, that's what I wanted to ask next. If somebody cannot see Nigeria's population, and what they did with their own people in China. So please, intervene.
Okay, China is not just about their population and the...
Sorry, what's your name?
My name is Ugo Ubili. I do believe the China impact or effect is part of your manifesto, President. First thing China did, because I did that research back in the day, they closed their seaport to disallow, other products coming to their country. And the reason is that they want to empower their people to start producing. You know what I mean? Because when everybody is shipping every goods and services into your country, that discourages your local producers from producing.
Yes.
And the only way you can go is that when you produce, then you can make money, number one. And when you produce, you'll be able to hire, create employment. And when you produce, you'll be able to pay taxes. And when you produce, you'll be able to develop other infrastructures. So what they did is that they closed their border to allow their local producer to start producing. That's the reason that most of them start moving out of China. Some of them that don't have patience to stay in China then. That's why you see them, they scatter every part of the world. The ones that stay behind, they start producing. And that is why most of them are rich today, the ones that start producing. That's number one. Number two, what the government did for them is to empower them, to give them give them what they call a cheap access to funds. Okay? Because you may have the idea, but when you don't have the money, you cannot do anything. The idea will stay there. So when you have the idea, number one, you still have the money to produce it. So that's the second thing they did. Then the third thing they did, though United States and other people have been complaining, I think they have been manipulating their money. I think that's why Trump has been fighting them. What they're doing or what they did is that they make sure their products and services are so cheap, cheaper than yours, that when you have my phone and other phone, the China one will be $1, your own will be $5. So which one do you go for? $1. Especially when two of them do the same thing. Do the basic thing to make us test. That's the basic thing phone can do. You see? So that's another thing they're doing. They have been helping their people through manipulating their currency. Nobody till today, I think nobody till today can challenge Chinese product because they're so cheap. That's number one. Number two, again, people are complaining about their quality too. Because most of their products, because of that cheapness, do not meet most of US standard. So, President, I think that's one of the things I want you to look into in Nigeria.
So, yes, thank you very much.
If you can give our producers access to
Subsidized loan.
yes, number one, and number two, helping us with the infrastructure, the lights, the roads and stuff.
Exactly.
Thank you so much.
So is there anybody here who thinks that there's something we can learn from China? Anybody? What's it we can learn from China?
I think what we can learn from China, particularly after the end of the Mao era, was how they were very active and willing to reinvent their economy, and not lean on the crutches that they had traditionally worked upon, and started branching out. And in particular, they decided to do a lot of bringing back expats and trying to encourage them to become a part of their leadership base, as particularly both on the business side of things and in the political side.
This is brilliant what you just said. At the point when China, this is not only China but also India, they deliberately created opportunities for their experts who are outside to come back and become part of the leadership base. When you mean leadership base, is that, you know, if we found someone at UC Berkeley who's a Chinese person or India, they will bring them back home. They'll do everything they can, you know, and reintegrate you. They give you the opportunity to come and teach or bring the ideas you have back home, and then, you know, tap into that. But in Nigeria, they don't even accept that. You know, I just went to Nigeria for the first time last year with Sahara reporters. A few days after I came, somebody was there to attack me physically. Or he wrote a story about me. Police came and arrested me physically. They wanted to jail me. 2 weeks later, all the money that I brought to start from a foundation that was funding a media lab in Lagos, they took the money with a court judgment that they obtained in the middle of nowhere in Ilorin. So they don't accept us because the political class in Nigeria don't want Nigeria to develop, right? Maybe the political class in China, or the political bureau, as they call them, the Politburo, that's the leadership, actually go out of their way to encourage people with brighter ideas, better ideas to come home. And whenever they have a chance to do something for cheap in China, when other people bring ideas to them and use their cheap labor, China will copy it with no shame, replicate it. You know how you get your knockoff bags. I'm not saying any one of you is here using knockoff bags, but why are you looking behind? You know, is that a knockoff bag? No. This is how China became, you know, self-sufficient. Is that they started working very hard. They started expanding their production base. You know, they has in the world some of the fastest trains in the world. Same amount of money that China will use to build fast trains is the same amount of money Nigerians will take out to go and buy houses in Dubai, London. They buy private jets. The difference between us and China, when they want to fight corruption, they will shoot you if you're still in China. In Nigeria, we'll give you a chieftaincy title. We move you from the back of the church to the front of the church. You are celebrated everywhere you go. You find yourself in front pages of newspapers. They give you titles. Some of them will be Doctor, Alaji. Okay, so I was told that you have a new class here by 2 o'clock. What a shame. Anyways, so quickly, holding corporations accountable. Person standing in front of you actually been here before to fight against Chevron. Chevron is your next door neighbor around here. We saw one of their refineries today. And foreign policy towards Africa, we have this Afrocentric foreign policy, which has been a big brother. But we need to have a Nigerian-centric foreign policy. Infrastructure, we want to double Nigeria road infrastructure by 200,000 kilometers of new highways. So on this note, because we have a new president, so much for coming, and I hope maybe we can gather a little bit outside of here and have more of Nigeria. Thank you.
Tell him to go that way. Tell him to go out that way.
You can see that most of the kids here are Chinese students. Yes, and they fund them to You're from China too? Huh? We're just talking about your country. Yes.
This word.
Thank you. Nice to meet you, man.
Yeah, bro.
I have one. Nigerian. I have a Nigerian.
Oh, you have one too?
This is cheapest.
Did you get that from China?
Yeah, look at it.
Maybe not directly from China, but like
It is made in China, probably.